Hi, Daniel. Let's take a look at your new essay set here. Dear Anna Arvalini, my name is Daniel Nordhausen. I am 26 years old programmer. I love working with colleagues from various cultural origins, and I'm ready to learn. Because I can be very persuasive, I love selling experiences to people, such as new kinds of products or even some type of entertainment like dancing. I have dozens of previous experiences with short-term jobs. Last summer, I worked as a waiter at a local restaurant, which demanded advanced English speaking skills from me, as it is a well-known place with tourists. I am used to volunteering whenever I have the time to do so. I mostly help animal shelters. I'm looking for a job that can bring me some type of different experience, and since you work at a shopping mall, I believe that would be easy to achieve because there are lots of different demands and types of customers. I would like to thank you for sending me your email so that I am able to apply for job opportunities during the summer. Feel free to contact me. Okay. The first thing I want to do, Daniel, is I want to see what the task is. So let's start there. Okay, so I looked it up and you're basically asking for a summer job. That's the point of this. And there are some other details that we don't really need to get into. But as you can see, I needed to do that. I needed to actually read what the topic is because it was just not clear from your letter what it is you wanted. I was really very confused. So one thing you have to remember in this kind of letter is that you absolutely must state the reason for your writing. In fact, it should be the first thing that you write, okay? So this was your task. You're writing a letter to an employer, okay? And so even the way you referred to her with her first and last name, that was a little strange. You probably should have used her last name only, and it should have been formal. All right, you needed to introduce yourself, explain what kind of job you want, and explain your relevant experiences. So I feel like a lot of this really struggled, okay? Let me show you where. So it should have been, Dear Ms. Arvalini, I am writing to inquire about opportunities within your company for a summer job. My name is Daniel Nordhausen. I am a 26-year-old programmer. And I love working with colleagues from various cultural origins. Full stop. Okay, this is just too much. I love this and I'm this and I'm that. So no. So this was confusing to me. You're a programmer and now you're talking to me about selling things or in products or entertainment or dancing. I was very confused with all of this. So I didn't understand what kind of job you were looking for, especially, when you said that you're a programmer. You never said that you are looking for anything for the summer. Okay. Let's see. I have dozens of previous experiences with short-time jobs. That's a little awkward. So what you want to say here instead is something like, each summer after my studies, or how about this? No, let's do it differently. Um, Let me think. So there's something specific I'm trying to think of. Give me a second while I try to formulate it in my head. Um, Here we go. While at university, I took advantage of each summer um, by taking on a summer job. This has allowed me to have numerous experiences. Last summer, I worked as a waiter at a local restaurant, which demanded advanced English speaking skills from me, as it is a well known place with tourists. Now, this doesn't fit in because we're not talking about volunteering, we're talking about work experience. So you could have said something else here. And then I didn't really like this. I am used to volunteering. If you wanted to say this, you could say I volunteer whenever I have time to do so. Okay. And then even here, the punctuation was wrong. So I would have put a full stop and then I mostly help animal shelters. But again, I would have taken this whole thing out. I am looking for a job that can bring me this is awkward, some different experience that can bring me a different experience. And since you work at a shopping mall, that okay, it felt a little random, especially again, since you said you're a programmer, you waited tables. So It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Um, and then what do you mean? I believe that would be easy to achieve. So this just didn't make sense to me. I am looking for a job that, how about this? Will allow me to gain will allow me to gain new experience, especially working with customers. Uh, and I believe working at the mall will provide just this opportunity. Okay. I would like to thank you for you. The person didn't send you her email. You're writing her. Okay. So that should be clear here. So I would like to thank you in advance for reading my letter. Because you just fabricated this. It just came out of nowhere. It wasn't part of the task, so you should leave it out. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions, plural, and then sincerely, and that's fine. Okay. So there are a number of issues with this letter. It definitely needs a little work. So go ahead and try to correct anything that we talked about. Okay. Let's go to your task 2. So here we have the essay about pollution. What are the reasons for it and how can it be solved? Here's what you wrote. Cities around the world are suffering consequences from pollution. Large cities are the main center when it comes to having those kinds of problems. There are some reasons for this, and even though it is hard to address the situation, people's feelings towards a solution seems to be bearing fruits. Okay, so I like part of this. Part of this needed a little work. Okay, let's take a look here. Cities around the world are suffering the consequences of pollution. Full stop. Or you could have put a semicolon here, which would have been actually really quite nice. Large cities are the main centers when it comes to having those kinds of problems. Let's see. People's feelings towards a solution seem to be bearing fruits. I mean, that's okay. Although I gotta be honest with you, I don't really understand what it means practically. So, like, their feelings about the solution are bearing fruits, or is it like the solutions themselves that are bearing fruits? So, theoretically, it's like it sounds like a nice sentence, but it doesn't really carry a whole ton of meaning. So, you might want to relook at that, okay? All right, let's keep going. Some time ago, there was a boom, not to, but in the world population, and that brought consequences such as high pollution, 2 L's in pollution. The world was not ready to deal with such a waste amount. No, the world was not ready to deal with such waste amount. That's wrong. With such an amount of waste, resources were allocated to creating and delivering products. What's going on here? You've got too many ideas in one sentence. You've got no links between these ideas, okay? You are over relying on commas, and I need you to work on that a little bit because a comma does not always do what you think it does. A comma is literally just a kind of note on the page to tell the reader to visually stop for like a second, okay? But that doesn't mean you can combine different ideas and contrasting ideas and things that are somehow related to each other or not related to each other just with a comma. You're going to have to do a little more work than that. So let's see. The world was not ready to deal with such an amount of waste. Here you could have put again a semicolon. Resources were allocated you know what would have been nice here? To the creation and delivery of products, not to the disposal of garbage. You see, you have a parallel structure here. It doesn't make sense to say allocated to create. It really should be allocated to creating. So instead, I made it, we're allocated to the creation and delivery of products, not to the disposal of its garbage. And then that works. Nowadays, it is possible to see different kinds of ideas trying to solve this situation. Ideas mostly related to dealing with plastic disposal. For example, in Brazil, there is a study around a bacteria that could dissolve plastic and feed from it. Okay, so you decided to use one problem and its a related solution in one paragraph. Interesting approach. Let's see what you did in the next paragraph. Human knowledge has brought us solutions throughout the time. I don't understand that. Solution throughout time. All right, there's a lot of stuff happening here, Daniel. We really have to fix this. Human knowledge has brought solutions for ordinary problems. That's it. However, it created new complications for most human products are based on extremely harmful materials such as petroleum. Petroleum comes from fossil fuels, which are long-lasting and damaging to the environment and consequently to us. Technology has evolved lightning fast through recent years. No, and so now, or so that it is now possible to create plastic from beet, which will then dissolve itself when in contact with salt water. That comes as a very creative solution to contamination issues without having to abandon the ease, not easiness, the ease the plastic brought to us when carrying things, for example. All right, so I have some issues with the way you develop these paragraphs. We're going to talk about it, but first I want to read your conclusion. In conclusion, our world society is going through pollution issues. You don't go through a pollution issue, you're experiencing pollution issues. Mostly because of source materials. I don't understand that. And high world population. And the high world, global actually, the high global population. However, when needed, humans can bring creative ideas and solutions to the table. That's a nice sentence. Time will tell if these new fixes shall bandage and heal pollution problems or not. Okay, that's fine. All right, so let me tell you what my issue was. I thought when I read your first body paragraph that you decided, since it is a problem and solution essay, is it not? Well, kind of, yeah. What are the reasons and how can we solve them? So it's like a causes and solutions. So that's what I thought you were going to do. I thought reading this paragraph that it was going to be like, okay, here's the cause of it, here's the solution. Here's the cause of it, here's the solution. But that's actually not what you did. I thought that's what you did here, but then here I was really confused. I didn't really know what this paragraph was about. It felt, I'm not really sure, honestly, even now. Look, because you said there are some solutions, and then there's some complications, and then petroleum, and then technology, and then beats. And so I'm so confused by this paragraph. What I need you to do, Daniel, is I need you to signpost a little more clearly. And what I mean is, like, in a sense, label what you're doing because it's just not clear. I felt like you were taking me from one place to another, and I just was not following your argument at all. So, part of the problem, like I said, perhaps this was again a problem and solution paragraph, but it was really not clear because you had this first sentence saying solutions. And so I'm like, oh, okay, well, this is a paragraph with solutions. But, reading it again a second and a third time, I'm now thinking, well, maybe it's not, maybe it is. So you have to, maybe it is like a problems and solution. So you really have to signpost this better. Let me see if I can show you what I mean in a way that makes sense. So I would have gotten rid of this sentence entirely because it just totally confused me. Okay. So how would you introduce this idea that petroleum is a real problem for us? Let's see. You could have linked it back to this idea of waste. You could say at the heart of the waste problem are products made of materials that do not biodegrade easily, such as plastics. These are made from petroleum, which is a fossil fuel, and therefore they are long-lasting and damaging to the environment and consequently to us. However, and here you're switching sides because now you're going to talk about this wonderful solution for this issue, okay? However, thanks to technology, which has evolved very quickly, it is now possible to create plastic from beet. Okay, so do you see what I did? I am linking. All right, I use the word signpost, but essentially what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like labeling, just kind of like linking the ideas with words that show how they relate to each other. And that's really part of what was missing for me in this essay. Okay, so that pretty much brings us to the end of this correction. I hope the feedback is helpful. I hope it's stuff that you can apply, and I hope to see some of the changes in your next set of essays. Okay, good luck to you.